Welcome to Wigan 77 True Crime and Mystery. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Everyone is welcome. Today at Wigan 77, we're going to discuss the Delphi murder case and what was learned from the testimony to date. Just to recap, this is about 13-year-old Abigail, Abby Williams, along with her friend, 14-year-old Libby German, who were reported missing the early evening hours of February 13th, 2017. The following day, on February 14th, 2017, the girls' bodies were discovered in a wooded area. The girls had been brutally murdered. This is the official FBI flyer at the time of the investigation. Now, in episode 3, we determined from the testimony from an analysis of Libby's phone that the girls did not walk the route the police and prosecution have presented to the public for years. According to Libby's phone, the most likely route they took was the path along the north side of Deer Creek, which is the red dotted line on the screenshot. This will be the first deception from the police and prosecution. Now, you're thinking about the last picture of Abby in the bridge guy video. Surely that proves the girls walked over the bridge that day. Okay, the far left photograph of Abby that you see there that the police told the public was the last photograph taken on Libby's phone on the day they went missing was timestamped 2:07 p.m. That photograph of Abby, was not found on Libby's phone, nor is there any trace on Libby's phone that it was uploaded to Snapchat from Libby's phone. The police testified that. The police found this photograph of Abby on the internet, not on Libby's phone. The prosecution assertion that this is the last picture taken of Abby, which would confirm their narrative of the girls crossed the bridge the day they went missing, is false. This photograph of Abby was not taken on that day according to the evidence on Libby's phone. So next we have the center photograph of the north side of the Monon High Bridge, which was posted from Libby's phone at 2:05 p.m., the day they went missing. Now, the day the girls went missing, the weather for that day was bright sunshine, no clouds. So I'll let you decide whether you think the center photograph is authentic or not. Looks like thin clouds to me, but that could just be my eyesight. So I'll let you folks decide. Okay, so here is the on the right bridge guy. In court, the testimony was there were 5 photographs found on Libby's phone. One was the photograph you see in the center. Then there were 4 photographs of bridge guy off in the distance behind Abby. Now, at 2:13:51, the police testified the 43-second video of Abby and a man way off in the distance is behind her starts, and at 2:14:34 the video ends. Now, the police testified the video is 43 seconds long, but according to the time presented in court that they testified to, this video should be 83 seconds long. My question is, does this video actually exist, or did the police create this video from the 4 photographs with the man behind Abby and the photographs on Libby's phone? There were the 5 photographs found on Libby's phone, 4 of which had a picture of a man apparently way off in the distance behind Abby in the photograph. What is the date these 5 photographs are taken? When was this video actually taken, as the photograph of Abby on the Monon High Bridge has been reported to be the last photograph taken on Libby's phone, was not on Libby's phone, nor was that photograph uploaded to Snapchat from Libby's phone. Also, the verified last photograph Libby took of the Monon High Bridge, taken on the north side of the bridge, has no people in it. The photograph is at 2:05 p.m. according to police. Having said that, it appears through testimony in court that the bridge guy video was manufactured by the police and wasn't a video at all on Libby's phone. They have a man on trial for committing a horrendous crime with what appears to be manufactured evidence. The bridge guide video was created by police. The last photograph of Abby on the Monon High Bridge, the police testified he found on the internet, and it was not on Libby's phone, nor was there any evidence through the analysis of Libby's phone that the photograph was uploaded from Libby's phone to Snapchat. It boggles my mind that a prosecutor would take a case to court knowing he was doing so with manufactured evidence. What is so sad is no one seems to care. Judge Gall certainly doesn't, as she is allowing this to occur in her courtroom. So there was testimony by several witnesses that they either saw Bridge Guy, who they now say was Richard Allen, to the lady that testified that she saw him muddy and bloody. However, several of these witnesses had changed their account of who they saw from their original statements to police to what the police narrative is, that they saw Bridge Guy, who is Richard Allen. It was obvious these witnesses were not telling the truth, that they've changed the description of the person they told police back in 2017 to reflect how Bridge Guy looks in the video, to then saying that Bridge Guy looks like Richard Allen. Okay, and it was obvious throughout the testimony. And even one of the witnesses eventually admitted she was influenced by the Bridge Guy video, which changed her mind as to who she saw. Then there was this exchange in court between the Delphi Sheriff Liggett, who was on the stand giving testimony, and Richard Allen's defense attorney, Mr. Rosie. Richard Allen's attorney, Rosie, said witness Betsy Blair, and she seems to be the only honorable witness they've got so far, stated she saw a man that was young and beautiful with brown poofy hair. She described the man as in his 20s or 30s. Rosie said her description does not match Richard Allen. Delphi Sheriff Liggett's response was, but neither did the three girls who saw him in the trail. Here we have the Delphi Sheriff Liggett admitting on the witness stand, that none of the witness statements match the description of Richard Allen. Once again, you have the Delphi police seeming to make up the evidence to fit their theory. Perhaps if they would take the time to look at the actual evidence they do have, they could have actually investigated properly, and then they could go out and find the real killers, because so far it's obvious this Richard Allen chap he's not guilty. Now, considering all the supposed eyewitnesses in this case, with the exception of Betsy Blair, as they're all less than forthcoming with the facts, so disregard all that unreliable testimony. I mean, you can't say in 2017 you saw a guy with black coat and black jeans and then change that to a blue Carhartt jacket and blue jeans. I mean, that's you disregard all that stuff. It's of no value to the investigation, to finding out who actually killed these girls anyway. So first, let's look at what was found at the crime scene. Let's look at some real evidence. In the screenshot, you see the location where the bodies were found. Then on the lower right, you see the location where the clothes were found in the water. Okay, a police person testified in court that female hairs were found on Abby's hand between her fingers with skin tags. Of course, the skin tag is important as that will yield DNA. The police person testified that the hair was not tested. They assumed it. Now, this is going to get, when we get to the DNA expert, it'll explain everything, okay? So, but this is what this police officer testified to on the stand. This is prior to the DNA expert. Testified that the hair was not tested because they assumed it was Libby's granny's hair. Okay, now here you have a brutally murdered young girl. You have hair found wrapped around her little finger. It was her pinky finger, Abby's pinky finger. Why would you assume the hair found on Abby's fingers were from Libby's granny's hair? Unless the police think Libby's granny killed the girls. Now how silly is this? Abby's hands were concealed up the sleeves of the sweatshirt she had on. They were not exposed, so therefore the hair was not from anyone that discovered the girls' bodies. The hair had to come from Abby pulling someone's hair just before she died for the hair to be still between her fingers, like wrapped around her pinky finger. Like, this should have been the first piece of evidence to be tested for DNA. Yet, here we are 8 years later, and that hair was only tested at the beginning of October 2024. Okay, this is what was found all together in the water. A pair of jeans, size 26 waist that were inside out with pink colored underwear on the legs. One Nike black athletic shoe with white sole and white swoosh. It was the left shoe. A white bandana type piece of fabric. Pink footed sock. Black spaghetti strap shirt that was inside out, size large 10 to 12. Tie-dye t-shirt, size extra large that was inside out. Black footy sock. Gray zip-up hooded sweatshirt of cotton type material and a green headscarf. Now, this is the clothing that was found on Abby. Abby Williams was found wearing what was believed to be Libby's clothes. Her jeans were unfastened and looked too big for her. She had on a black hooded sweatshirt with the words Delphi Swimming on the front and German on the back in yellow block letters. Abby was wearing a gray sports bra, pink t-shirt under the sweatshirt, black Converse All-Star shoes. Also found at the crime scene was Libby's right Nike shoe and cell phone under Abby near the small of her back. Okay, here we're back at the crime scene. The police contend the killer redressed Abby. However, the evidence located at the crime scene tells you that Abby redressed herself. The evidence at the crime scene appears to show that Libby was the first to undress. The cell phone most likely dropped to the ground next to her shoe or on her shoe. Once Libby was undressed, Abby was most likely told to partially undress, and what indicates that is Abby was found wearing her own bra and pink t-shirt, which would indicate these two clothing items were never taken off. Abby, when her shoes were removed from her feet, were dirty on the bottom, indicating that she had been barefoot at some point. Abby was wearing skinny jeans, and anybody who wears skinny jeans know they usually come off inside out, and usually your knickers go down with them, which is exactly how Abby's jeans and knickers were found in the water. Her socks would come off at the same time because, again, skinny jeans they're skinny. Then Abby was most likely told to put on Libby's sweatshirt and jeans, as there was no way Abby could run wearing Libby's jeans. Now, I'm not being disrespectful to anyone here, but these are important details because this is what gives you the clues as to what the sequence of events and why, not necessarily why they occurred, but it gives you some clues. Okay, so please don't take any of this as me being disrespectful. Okay, so Libby's jeans were twice the size of Abby. Like, Abby was only 100 pounds, while Libby was 200 pounds. If the killers had redressed Abby, they would have seen the Nike running shoe and the cell phone under Abby, which was in a purple case. So that purple case would have been very noticeable sitting on the brown leaves. The killers would have taken the cell phone, Nike shoe, and threw them in the creek along with the other clothing. If the killers, and yes, the autopsy will tell us there were a minimum of 2 killers, had the presence of mind and took the time to gather all the other items of clothing, then to throw all the potential evidence in the creek, they most certainly would not have left behind that cell phone and Nike running shoe. They wouldn't. They went to all the trouble to get everything else together. Had they known that that cell phone and Nike shoe were under Abby, they would have taken them. And if they redressed Abby, there's no way that the killers could have redressed Abby and not seen those two items. It's impossible. Okay? So again, the crime scene told the police these things, but they just seemed to ignore it. Now, the girls, according to the coroner, testified there was no visible signs of sexual assault. Okay, so if there's no signs of a sexual assault, there are three reasons a perpetrator undresses or has the victim undress themselves. Well, the first is obvious, to commit a sexual assault. The other one is less likely the victim will escape. Okay, so think about it this way. Libby is nude. She's less likely to run away, with nothing on. And Abby, she's got these big, big jeans on. So even if she tries to hold them up and run, it's difficult. It's difficult. You're not going to be able to move too quick. And the other one is humiliation of the victim. That's, just those are the only three reasons you're going to have a victim strip. So please keep this in mind. In the next episode, we will discuss the testimony from the coroner. So thank you again so much for listening. I look forward to all your feedback. Please leave feedback in the comment section, or you're welcome to email me your feedback at ybentleyddavidson@outlook.com. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It's free. Until next time, always remember, every day is a gift.